It's a book reviews back in your life. Here to do another one. This is the podcast where we discuss all things books. I am AJ Brown. With me, as always, is Devonte Smith. And they both had the best game of their season last week, and both of them were on my bench. And that's all we'll say about it. They decided to pop off when I took them off the team. And yeah, this is we're going to be talking about old Jay Kristoff's book 2 in the Empire of the Vampire series. This book is called Empire of the Damned. Shout out Jake. I love empires and I love Damned. Um, we're gonna get into it, dude. Why don't
Well,
you hit us with that? Hit us with that relatable book reader quote straight from Empire of the Damned, just to start the boys off.
okay, I shall. So, I mean, this is a quote between a quote from a conversation between Dior and Gabriel, and Gabriel's reading a book, and Dior basically asks him, like, why are you even reading? And he says, "A life without books is a life not lived, Dior. There's a magic like no other to be found in them. To open a book is to open a door to another place, another time, another mind. And usually, mademoiselle, it's a mind far sharper than your own." I was like,
Mm.
wow, that's a booktuber quote right there if I've ever seen one.
I mean, that's a quote, and I mean very relatable. I mean that's why we do it, ladies and gentlemen. We all know why we're here, and it's because we love to read. And that was by him. This is probably a spoiler even to show this picture, so I'll only show half. But that's the boy who just quoted that. An absolute dog who reads books. And that's what we are on this channel, if you didn't know. We're just a couple of dogs who read. So yeah, Jay Kristoff, book 2 in the Empire of the Vampire series. This book came out last year, 2024, in February. It's got 27,000 ratings so far with a 4.56 stars overall. So if you're watching this video, it may be because you're wanting a summary because book 3 is about to come out. Right now it's October 23rd as of recording this. November 5th, book 3 comes out. So we're going to do a quick non-spoiler rating, just talking about what we thought. And then we are going to do a spoiler summary review where we do try to go through at least all the big ticket stuff that you need to recall before you read book 3. We both just finished this. I finished it, a day or two ago. You just finished it today. So it's fresh for us. We got the book on hand. Won't be showing any of the pictures because we'll be demonetized and we need to make our millions that we most certainly make off this channel. So anything else up front? I mean, some of these pictures are ridiculous, bro. I got to stop looking at this. Oh, dude, I found it. I found the
They're
one.
diabolical.
Um,
If you've read the book, you maybe don't know. But if you know anything about us, you probably know the one that Jesse's referencing. And if you wait till the very
yeah.
end, I'll show it at the
Honestly,
very,
though,
very
it's
end.
got to be difficult, like after reading this book, to really know which one we're talking about because there's quite a few that are just.
Yeah.
That's the one, Jay, that you demanded we have a picture of in this book. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get
We talked
into it.
about it a
We'll
little.
get into it in the
Every
spoiler.
wild sexual scene just has to have a picture. So I mean, it's tough to read this book in
Yeah.
public. I won't lie, but this book, I mean, I know we're non-spoilers. I don't know how you feel. This book is better than the first book, and the first book's really good.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
honestly, this was my second time doing it or reading this book, or I audibled this time. Dude, it's such a good, like, just as a singular book as itself. Dude, it's pretty up there with all the stuff that happens. And this could just be recency bias, but dude, especially the end, I forgot. The end was crazy, dude. So crazy.
Absolutely
But
insane. I
what
mean,
are your
we are
thoughts? Is it
indentured
better, worse?
servants to the moment. So we definitely have recency bias, but I would agree that it was actually tough, man, because I love the first book so much. But yeah, especially with how everything ends, man, and some of the lore that you get, a couple of questions answered, but just dude, the build up for book 3 that you get from this book is just so
Yeah.
good. So really everything kind of puts it over the top for me, just barely. But I would have to agree with you, man. Like right now, if book 3 were to be just as good as book 1 and 2, this will be one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Right now, it honestly, and this
Let's
is
go.
again, it's been years since I've read Mistborn, but like, dude, right now it feels like it's better than Mistborn to me, which is one of my favorite trilogies. It feels like it's better than Lycanius, which is one of my favorite trilogies. We still got to read book 3. So
Oh,
So who knows? Book 3 in Lycanius, though, is like, I mean, the ending to the Lycanius trilogy is
Yeah.
to this day the best ending of a story I've ever read, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
we'll see how he lands it, bro. But it seems like he is gearing us up for an epic conclusion that is going to break everybody's
Bro, I
heart.
don't know
That's
how he
what I'm
does it.
feeling.
That's my only thing
I
is,
I don't
again, I know
either.
we're still, this is really more for the second book right now, but dude, just with what happens in this book, how does he end it in one book? How is this just a trilogy? Is
Yeah,
what
dude.
I want to
Yeah,
know. But again, if you've read the first
yeah.
book, there's no reason for you not to read the second book. I mean,
No, no. Yeah,
it's
it's
it's so
it's at
good.
least slightly better in every way. So yeah, I mean, just to before we start trying to talk spoilers, so non-spoiler, I gave this book 5 stars out of 5. On Fable, what did I guess I think I just gave it 5 stars on Fable. And I say that because Fable allows you to do it in 0.25 increments, but I think I still just gave it 5 stars. I think. Um, Everything about it is great, bro. The character work is immaculate. The action's dope. The world building, it gets a little deeper and it's great.
Yeah.
The suspense and the pace, man. I've never realized until The Will of the Many, which I've had great pacing in other books, but The Will of the Many made me realize how much
Yeah.
pacing is actually one of the most important things to me. And that makes sense for any reader because it just keeps you engaged nonstop. And this book, man, I mean, I
It
can
was
barely
almost
put it
too
down.
much at the end, dude. Some of those
Yeah.
last chapters where it's bouncing back and forth, because I mean, I wouldn't say this is a
Oh, dude.
spoiler,
Yeah.
but you get more than one POV. In book 1, it's just Gabriel. In book 2, we won't say who it is, but you have another POV. So at the end, you're just bouncing back and forth, and
Yeah.
dude, it's a wild ride. Because I mean, it's just
Yeah.
high end action of like the stakes could not be higher at each side, and it's just
Yeah.
is throwing you back and forth.
And he knows what he's doing, bro. It's like pinball. Like he gets you
Yeah,
right up to the moment of completion, if you will. And then he
dude,
takes you on to, he's an edgelord, bro. I mean,
he's an
let's be real.
edgelord, dude.
Like, let's
Jay
be real, bro.
Kristoff,
He's an edgelord in every way. In every way, for sure. Um,
dude.
so yeah, and we can talk more about that in spoilers. But yeah, I mean, non-spoiler, because again, we want this video to be kind of more of a summary for readers that are gearing up for book 3 more than anything. But if you're here and you've read book 1 and you're wondering, should I read book 2? The only reason I would say don't read book 2 is if you did not like book 1. If you were at all into book 1,
Yeah,
this book's a little bit better, if not a good bit better, and I think you're going to love it. And I think
agreed.
you will have to pick up book 3 the day it comes out if you read book 2, which I will say I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
grateful, man. You read when did you first read the first book? It's been like a year or two, right?
yeah. I read it in late 2022, I believe, and then I read this one. I think right when it came out, the Empire of the Damned. I read it in 2024 last year. Which shout out to Jay for kind of knocking these out because I didn't
Yeah,
realize because
for
I'm pretty
sure.
sure I read it very close to when it first came out.
Yeah,
Maybe not like right after, but within a couple months, maybe last year.
yeah.
So I mean, him already finishing this a year later is, I mean, huge. Love that.
It's truly God tier. He's in his bag. So yeah, for me, it's been great because I read the first book a couple weeks ago, just read the second book, and the third book comes out in about 2 weeks. So I'm not really having to wait. It's all
Perfect
going to be
timing.
really fresh for me, which is super nice. It's kind of just an elite way to read a series. We talked about this with our East of West compendium. It's the same for comic books. It's actually much more important in comic books, but even for trilogies, it's just nice to hit them back to back, man. Take all the
Yeah.
story in at once, if you will. And yeah,
I
man, I
will
gotta
say
say, we
Jay
said it in
does
our last
that.
video.
He does that summary though at the beginning, which is clutch.
Yeah,
I mean,
summary's huge,
authors
but I
need to
don't know
do
why
that.
everybody's not doing that. Yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be done. But anyway,
they either need to do that, bro, or they need to have a QR code at the beginning of the book with a link to our video where we summarize the book before it. So we'll see if we can get in there. You guys, tweet at Jay Kristoff, tell him to put our QR code in the third book before he
the
starts
edge
dropping it.
lord.
So yeah, look, if you've read book 1, read book 2. It's awesome. If you haven't read this series at all, go ahead and get into it. It's a perfect time. Book 3 is about to come out. I don't know if there's much more to say,
I don't think there
non-spoiler
is.
wise. Check this book out. So let's get into it. If you haven't read this book and you don't want to know any spoilers, go ahead and leave. We're about to full steam ahead. A full summary. I say full. we're both idiots, so we'll probably miss all kinds of stuff and jump back and forth.
Yeah,
But we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our damnedest,
it's fine.
if you will.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so let's start. I guess we really have to start at the end of book
The
one.
last book.
And I don't
Yeah.
even remember how it ends, bro. How does the last book end? Let's be real.
It ends with Gabriel grabbing the throat of John
Oh yeah,
Paul
John Francois,
or John Francis,
John Francois,
and
Francis.
he turns into a bunch of rats, and then I think the first chapter actually is him waking up because he's been
Yes, it
asleep
is.
or he's been recovering because Gabriel almost got him with his whole blood powers of just yapping people if he can touch them, vampires that is. So I think that's where it starts off, and then he has a little run in where he gets called up to, and it's the first time we see it because I don't think it's in the last book. I think she's referenced in the last book, but I'm looking for her name. Is it Margot? Margot Chastain?
Margot Chastain.
Or
Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah. So
Yeah,
you get a little run in with her, and you kind of finally see the one who's making him do this, John Francois. Write all this down.
Francois.
So that's how it starts.
So that's where it picks up in the tower, in the castle of the Chastains, if you will. So where the story that's being told ends in book one is essentially after Gabriel pulls the Joel Miller move and he slaughters everyone at San Michon because they want to kill Dior. And he gets killed by them, but then Celine saves him, gives him a little bit of her blood. Then he saves Dior, and then basically the book ends with him saying to Dior, "Let's go meet my sister." So that's where we pick up in book
And
two.
then
So
yeah. So Celine has the kind of reveal too that she theoretically knows what Dior is supposed to do and be. Whereas, what they were trying to do to her at San Michon by killing her was not actually stop like Days Dead or, the Endless Night. So
right,
then she's the one who convinces them to go to I can't remember the name of the first little location, but it's the closest location where one of her elders is there that would
yeah,
know
or like
kind of
Johan
next
or whatever
steps.
his name is. I
Hmm.
forget what his name is.
And so it's when they're along that way that they run into I don't think it's the same. Maybe it's the same village.
There's the crew for you visual
She's
learners.
the crew.
There's the crew right
The
there. Look at Celine down there, bro, looking absolutely diabolical.
dude,
Anyway,
Celine is a problem. But that's when um is it the boys? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Is it dude,
Latchy.
I So they end up meeting up with Lachlan because he's like running away from a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
undead. So
Mm-hmm.
he gets added into the story, which, dude, I just to pause for a second. I mean, I loved his addition to the story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought was a great add-in character, and I don't think he
Yeah.
was referred to at all in book one. If he was, it was
Mm-mm.
very minimal. So kind of getting
I
to
don't
meet
recall him being. Yeah.
because he is. We find out Gabriel's trainee, and then later on we find out more about his backstory. But
Yeah. Which
Lachlan's
is crazy.
a dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
his
He's an
backstory is
absolute
wild.
dog. He's a silver saint. They see him basically the trio, Celine, Gabriel, Dior, are making their way to Celine's one of her people, her master or whatever, to, fix Day's death with Dior. On the way, they
Yeah,
see Latchy. He's running from some wretched or whatever. They help him. Obviously, for Gabriel, this is a really tense moment because he loves seeing this guy after like 10 years or whatever it's been. But he's also thinking, man, I just killed all of his homies back
yeah,
home. So when he finds out, it's gonna go south.
which it
But then
does
we find
eventually.
out what Lachlan had going on has to do with, was it Aviel? What's the place called that Aaron and Baptiste are in? Starts
See,
with an
that's
A.
where they run up on them and see that they've been savaged
Yeah,
for
they've been absolutely
helping out.
savaged.
And so I can't remember. I think they've already taken most of their prisoners away,
Mm-hmm.
back to where we end up ending the story. But that's when you get the first run in with some new characters from Blood Devok, and that's
Kiara.
Kiara and Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Which Kiara ends
And
up
the
being
other one.
a pretty main character. Yeah, there's someone else who I think gets killed
He
in
gets
that
killed.
next
He does not
battle.
make it. Yeah.
But these are the people that end up chasing them, which I can't remember when at what point in the story. That's them going into that first
Yeah.
fort, right? That first place when they
That's
see
them
that
coming out
everybody's
when they
dead.
first see. Yeah.
But at what point? I think it's when they're on voyage to that place that there's an undead that clearly is being mind controlled, and it's by one of the two twins. The Alba, is it Alba and Aline?
Yeah.
The twin
I
terrors.
don't. Does that happen at this point yet? I think it's a
I just
little
can't remember at
after.
what point they converge, because that's what ends up kind of being the dagger, is that the terrors end up kind of trapping them into the fortress there. They end up actually getting out and past them, but that's when Kiara and Kane and crew show up, which they're not even supposed to be there because they're past like their territory, which you kind of learning more about later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I guess it makes sense for Alba and Aline to be there because they just
I
killed
think it
last
might be a
book.
little
Danton
later
gets
when they
killed.
show up. Yeah. So they're basically chasing them down because what was his name again? Too. He has such a cool nickname,
Danton,
the
the
Beast of
Beast of
Valine.
Villain. Yeah.
So he got killed in book one. So yeah, basically, Aline and Alba, who are the two eldest children of Fabian, are now on the track of Gabe and Dior and Celine. But I think it's a little bit further down the road when they show up because first Phoebe shows up.
Good call. Good call.
Phoebe shows up, and I'm gonna have to just only show part of this, but Phoebe shows up, and we find out she's a person.
That's a
Uh,
diabolical cover up.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So we find out Phoebe is a person who changes into a kitty cat, as Gabriel
She's a
calls her,
dusk dancer.
um, desk dancer. So that's pretty sweet. But the big thing that we discover here when they pull up on Kiara and the Blood Devok people is that Aaron and Baptiste are nowhere to be found. They're kind of confused on what happened because it doesn't look like a siege occurred. It doesn't look like there's a ton of damage to a lot of the battlements. So they're like, what happened here? And to be honest, I don't even remember what the reasoning for that was. But, it sets in you a sense of dread once you realize that the Divok are there because now you know that Aaron and Baptiste are either dead or worse. They're captured or maybe they're undead. We will find
Yeah.
out.
Well,
So
you
they
find out
fight.
what
You
the
find
reasoning is at the very, very end.
what?
That girl, bro. The girl who's actually in love with Nikita, not to really jump super far
Oh,
forward. You think
Kiara.
she's in love. No. The other girl who's in the
Oh,
cage, who you think's
right.
in
That's
love with the
right,
dude
dude. That's
with the
right.
dogs. She's the
The
one who
ever after
savages the
girl,
whole
bro.
plan. That
Dude,
was a
she
true tagger,
sucks,
but
man. And Joaquin doesn't even know, bro. Joaquin
Joaquin
never
Phoenix,
even
dude.
found out.
God,
Joaquin, bro, he
poor
never found
Joaquin.
out.
He doesn't
So
need to know, dude. He doesn't need to
no,
know.
dude, you
No.
cannot tell him that, bro. He'll be broken
Which,
for eternity.
to slightly go back so that we can do reactions as well, what was your first thoughts when Phoebe, obviously as a mountain
When this
lion,
picture
which,
showed up,
yeah,
I was
what were your thoughts when you're like, wait, she's a person? Did you see that
yeah. I mean,
coming?
that was like no, I definitely didn't see that. And what's funnier is I didn't see that coming, but then I also didn't see what happened at the end coming with another animal. So I didn't
Oh,
pick up
yeah.
on really anything as far as that stuff goes. But it once it happened, it was like, okay, like it does start to make sense.
Yeah.
It fits in the world. It almost feels like I should have known that. Um, but
The
yeah, I
dust
mean, it
dancers
was
aren't
cool.
really talked about a ton
Really,
in book
really
one.
cool.
The whole dust dancer arc I like a lot. But then that's when
Yeah,
all this kind of gets murky for Gabriel because Lachlan's there and now it's like, wait, you're with, and then Celine ends up showing up as well. So it's like, all right,
yeah,
you're with a dust dancer and a vampire.
yeah.
Like,
You're with a flesh witch and a foul blood, which feel like
what's going
slurs,
on
bro.
here?
Whenever Celine calls
Those are slurs.
Phoebe a flesh witch, I'm like, that sounds like the N word, is what that sounds like to me. um, But yeah, no, I
Oh
didn't expect
god.
that at all. But that is one of my favorite in-world names that the characters use is Flesh Witch because Phoebe gets so pissed every time,
She
and I
does.
love it. And then
Well,
they
what
call
did you
Selena
think?
Blood Witch.
to move slightly forward, so obviously they end up parting with, like, they make Lachlan take the people back to Saint
Those
Michon because
kids.
he's already,
Which, dude,
he's already getting sketched out.
diabolical, bro. I mean, Gabriel had to do what he had to do, but to say, yeah, bro, just take the kids to Greyhand at San Michon, they'll be fine over there.
There's nothing, they'll love it there.
Like, it's
And he
totally fine,
says
bro.
his last
He
words
says,
is
"What
something,
did Greyhand
it's
say to
something
you?"
diabolical. No,
Yeah, he said,
he tells him to tell, like, to have a drink with, or
yeah,
maybe not have a drink. It was something that was like, come on, dude, you can't say
yeah.
that. That
Made it
was
sound
too
like he
far.
did not slaughter those people. Made it sound like they were still cool, and it's just like, dude. I mean, you couldn't tell him. Gabriel
No,
was in a bad spot. He couldn't have done anything different. But it's like, dude, at least don't say that at the end. Don't say something
yeah.
extra to really piss him
I
off.
wish
But
I
he
knew what
did.
the actual line was, but it was tough. But to
Yeah, I
move
can't remember.
forward, since he sends them off, and then they end up going towards the first, like, location where Celine thinks someone's potentially there. I mean, it's kind of early in the book at this point when it's like, wait, they're all
Mhm.
dead. We have to, like, detour somewhere else. I mean,
Yeah. You essentially find
what
out
were
that the
your
people
thoughts at
Celine's
that
looking
point?
for. I mean, dude, you find out that they deleted themselves, the people that they were looking for. But that is when you get the first hint of what's actually going on with Celine and what she's doing when she
It's
takes
suspicious,
the
yeah.
blood of another vampire, because you realize in that moment he says, like, it was too
She
much
never
to
feeds.
bear. Um, like the guy that deleted himself, he's like, it was just too much to
Oh
bear. I
yeah,
couldn't take it anymore. And you're like, well, he's got to mean something other than just the pressure. Like, there's no way he got pressed that hard. So you know that there's something extra going on, which you come to find out they're like pulling a Reverend Mother from Dune, and they've got like all the memories and souls of
yeah.
vampires that they suck. But yeah, so that was pretty wild. Then they run well, before that's when we meet
Well,
Aline
dude,
and Alba, though, is when they get to that
yeah.
place. That's when you first meet the eldest of Fabian's vampire children, which, dude, they are so cool, man.
The
There's
Yin
just something
Yang.
about them, bro. They're so bad. And
It's
they're
kind of
creepy
a
too, bro. They talk in unison, they
Raven,
move in
or not
unison.
Raven. It's kind of a Crow and Wolf vibe to
Kind
bring
of
East and
is.
West into this with the black and
Kind of
white
is.
there.
Little
But I
yin and
mean, I
yang,
guess
little
everything's
black and
black and
white.
white.
Um, so yeah, then they show up to this place. This is where, oh, dude, I mean, my whole system just, I mean, what just happened? Did
I
that
can
happen
still
for
see you.
you? Okay, that's just on mine. That's perfect. So they pull up to this spot. That's where everybody deleted themselves. Pretty cool
Yeah,
picture. So then they're basically like, well, what should we do? And Celine is like, oh, we can just go to this other place where another one is. And of course,
yeah,
Gabriel is thinking, there's no shot we're doing that. For one, the place that Celine wants to go, we already know has been sacked by the Divok, by Nikita, by the Heartless and the, what's this, the Heartless
Black
and the
Heart,
whatness? The Blackness? The
Black
Black Heart.
Heart.
Not the Blackness. That's tough. Um, so Gabriel is like, nah, we're not doing that. Like, we're going to get killed. We'll pull up to the Highlands instead. And I think we're not missing anything before we get to the big fight with Kiara
Yeah, I
at
think
that
that's
point.
basically all the main stuff. It's just that Phoebe is like, hey, we prophesied about them too. Maybe we should take, like,
Right.
because she wants him to go there as well, to her homeland. But I
Yeah.
guess the only caveat is, they're mortal enemies of vampires and silver saints as well. So, it's said
Hmm.
that he would get killed if he goes up there. Gabriel, that is. So
Yeah.
yeah, that leaves us to where
So
they're in the absolute thick of it.
yeah, they're in the thick of it. So they basically start having to fight.
Bro,
They're having to fight Kiara and Kane.
and Gabriel hits
Uh,
Dior.
that's is that this part? That is this part.
Hmm.
That is this.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
which you
Is
find
it?
out
Yeah, it
later
is.
on, which is kind of tough, dude. What
Dude,
what
it's
actually
so tough,
transpired,
bro.
dude?
Celine is actually a blood witch, bro. Like, Celine is so
Bro,
messed up for that. Like,
she's
I
a snake,
understand
dude.
her, and you have to, bro. You have to. I tried to sympathize with Celine. It's like, bro, she's a
She got the
vampire.
weight
She
of
got
so
turned
many
into a
souls.
vampire, and she's got souls inside her. And she was a kid when it happened. She's like, what was she, 15 years old or something when it happened to her?
Yeah,
So she's been a vampire for half her life now. So anyway, they get in this big fight, and when they start getting in the fight, we do have to show this. I mean, this is one of the best pieces of art in the book. I wish it would focus, and it's
Gabriel
Gabriel
going
with his
off.
Aegis lit up, and Celine down here ready to fling her blood at everybody or whatever she does. So they start fighting, and Kiara is just an absolute problem, dude. She's built like the
Yeah.
Hulk. She has Thor's hammer.
She is She-Hulk,
Um,
yeah, I feel like.
and so they end up in one of these, which we love these, where everybody's hanging off a cliff just all of a sudden. And so you got Celine bent over backwards, which, I mean, you hate to say it, but shout out Celine. Um, Bent over backwards, keeping holding on to Gabriel, who is holding on to Dior. Dior climbs up Gabriel's body and over Celine because you were trying to save her. And then once Dior's good to go, Celine pulls a Scar versus Musafa. Is it Musafa?
Yeah, Musafa. Yeah.
She lets the
Lion
dude
Queen
go,
strat.
bro. She flings her brother off, and you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, dude, what is gonna happen?" And I want to say,
That's when the switch
is
up
that
happens.
that's when the switch up
You find
happens, and this
out
is when you find out. Yeah, what do we find out? Tell me what we found out.
Celine is in the dungeon, dude.
The Blood Witch
Celine's in the
herself,
dungeon.
dude. The Blood Witch
And they
herself. She's in
disrespect
the
her, which I
dungeon.
think a lot of it is deserved. And she's got a huge little thing across her mouth, which I will say, not again to jump to the end, but you're under the assumption that her face is still messed up, dude. And that's something that I just cannot think about enough, is that her face is actually not messed up. Like underneath that.
It is.
You
So
don't
what I
find that
think
out
is
to the very end.
happening. Well, I think it gets
She's
better
done
in the
something
end
in
because
book
she starts
3.
drinking that blood. Um,
Yeah, there's something in book
but
3
I
happens to
don't
where
think it
now she
lasts
no longer.
forever. Oh wait, you're saying
Well,
she?
there has, dude, in that right there in that picture, you can't tell obviously, but at the very end they talk about how when her mask comes off, like her face is fine.
But that's at
But
the end,
like
bro.
when
That's
she
after she
drinks,
drinks that blood.
yeah, but dude, but in the story, she'll like drink blood and her face will get a little bit better. Like it'll stitch back a little bit,
Uh
but it's
huh.
not fully back. Whereas at the end of the book here, like she's fully, like she's good.
I don't know,
Like
bro. If you look
there's
close in
nothing
this
messed up
picture,
on her
bro,
face.
she looks kind of chalked. Look at her. Look at her mouth right there. There's no lip. There ain't no lip,
Can't
bro.
tell.
She ain't got no lips.
Right there, she doesn't. Maybe I'm grasping at straws then, because I thought it's definitely
Well,
said something about her face being like like
well, it does at
there
the
was no
end.
blemishes on her face,
It does at the
which
end, but
that
I
is
think it's because
never
she
said
drinks.
before.
No, it's not. But it is hinted at throughout this book that when she drinks of like a powerful vampire, that's when it starts healing up her face. Um,
Yeah,
but I think she either gets some of Gabriel's blood or Chastain's at the end. I can't remember what happens, but we'll get to it when we get there. But you're right, dude. There is something going on, and Celine's not, bro. Celine's not
she's
telling her whole story. At the end of the day, bro,
no
she's
dude.
keeping as many cards as she can to the chest.
Still to this day, you thought she revealed them all and she didn't.
Literally until the very end of the book, she is keeping cards to her chest. I don't know if she'll ever not have those cards at her chest. So Chastain starts interviewing Celine, and there's this is where an interesting dynamic comes into the book, and I'm very curious to see if Jay just leaves it the way it is, or if he ever gives any definition to it. Because once you get Celine's POV, you start questioning how reliable was Gabriel, or how reliable is Celine? Because Celine makes a point, the whole time you've had everything from Gabriel's perspective, and this, he sees Dior as like a daughter, and she's beautiful and amazing and strong and courageous, brave, all the good things. And he doesn't ever really say anything negative about her character. And not that Celine necessarily does, but she does indicate that there's more to Dior than Gabriel will let on. There's another side to her. And she also indicates that Gabriel just is not being completely truthful about everything that happened. And even if Jay doesn't expound on that too much more, I kind of like the idea that he's just throwing that out there to indicate, some of these details might be a little hazy, because Gabriel wants to see it one way, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Celine wants to see it one way. So I thought that was cool. And dude, what's funny is, I mean, we have no notes on what actually happens in this book, so I'm just looking at the pictures to give me a clue as to what's going on. So once we get to Celine, I mean, what happens? She starts. Oh, she starts off where we left
Celine
off in the
turns
battle.
into the little moat thing, which you don't know that for a while. You don't know how she knows what's going on. And even
That's right.
Jean-Francois is kind of questioning her, but then you find out basically like a little moth of her is still alive because she gets really finessed in the battle with Kiara, which that's also when you kind of see that there's this little golden chain thing that they're drinking out of, the Divox that is, which in the end ends up being a pretty big deal. But yeah, they take her. That's when Dior tries to escape because she like has some locks in her boot, and that's when you get Joaquin. He kind of enters the story, and that's when it's like, oh wait, this is the true love guy with the girl.
Right.
It's like it's
Forever
not, but it
after.
is.
Yeah.
And then this is where in the moment you don't know what's happening, but she saves his life because he gets, basically he's about to die, and she does her whole blood trick and exposes what she can do, but then saves him, which ends up being a big deal later on, which is kind of a cool element. I don't know if we want to just I guess we shouldn't just fast forward, but essentially she ends up getting taken, obviously, to the ancient of the Divock, which is the Blackheart Nikita. And then, dude, the Audible pronounces, how do you say the Heartless's name? Lilidh.
Lilith. I was saying Lilith, I think.
They say Lily is what it sounds like.
Really?
Which is crazy.
So
yeah,
the
so
DH on the end is just like a waste of space. That's awesome.
That, and then, dude, the other girl, not to jump too far ahead, Rain is how they say her name. Princess Rain. The one who you find out is a princess. Reyne. I guess that's...
I think I was saying Rain for her.
But
so yeah, that
dude,
brings
it
us
threw
to the
me
next
off when I
picture in the
saw her
book.
name after audibling for a while because I forgot her name was Lil.
So once Dior is taken to
yes, okay.
where the Divock are, before she starts meeting everybody, she does find out that Baptiste is alive, and they hug. They're so happy to see each other. And when they were back at Aveline or whatever, where Baptiste and Aaron run things, they found Aaron's sword broken, so they thought Aaron was dead. And Dior says something to Baptiste. She's like, "I'm so sorry, Aaron's dead. We saw his sword." And he's like, "Sherry, he's not dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's capital D dead." And then you're like, "Oh no, dude. Aaron got." And dude, that whole thing, man. So what they do to Aaron is so
dude, that's just the
diabolical,
beginning.
bro.
That's the beginning of
And that's
Aaron's
just the
problem.
beginning, bro. Like, you didn't realize you would be missing the box that he got put in. But he basically gets put in a coffin and is in constant pain because of all his Silver Saint Aegis tattoos are burning his skin. So they have this whole drawn out, disgusting scene where they basically flay him to get all of the Silver Saint stuff off of his body.
Tough. That was a tough read.
And it's terrible, and he's in a ton of pain. But then you find out, bro, that he heals every day. At least currently. They fix it later by ashing him or something. But for the time being, bro, they're flaying him once a day, and then he's growing that Aegis back. And so he's in literal constant pain, just freaking out, constant pain.
R.I.P., dude.
And dude, that's not the worst thing that happens to him. It's dude, Aaron. Like, bro, not to skip too much ahead, but if you're watching the summary, like, he's still alive at the end of the book, and just in a position where it's like, bro, where does Aaron DeCoste go from here after what he has seen, bro?
He's got to mentally lock in, dude.
I mean, no one's ever had to lock in harder. So then we meet the mom and dad, brother and sister of House Divock, of the blood Divock. You've got the Heartless Lily down here, and she's got a sick little headpiece she wears. And then you have the Blackheart, Nikita. And then you got that doggy down there, and you think, oh, that's just a cool little companion on the bad guy's side. Whatever, he's creepy. No, dude, keep that in mind. Keep that little guy in mind. Keep Ghost in mind. So when we first met Nikita, bro, I thought, dude, Nikita's like the coolest bad guy. Like, I like Nikita, bro. He's kind of sick. And dude, little did I know that only last statement was correct. He is sick, bro. And not in the good way, bro. Yeah. He's ill.
He's so it reminds me of what Pierce Brown almost does in one of the books. It would have been so diabolical.
Yeah.
Except this actually
Jay just
happens.
does it. Yeah, dude. Jay does it, bro. And it's such a tragic thing, bro, because Gabriel is already we're skipping a little bit, but just to go back to Aaron, Gabriel is already such a tragic character, man. I mean, bro, this dude cops 0 W's a week, Gabriel.
Yeah.
And then you meet Aaron, bro, and you get to know him in the book. You realize, dude, there's all this different stuff from book one that we won't rehash. But
Book one,
like,
he's kind of a
Aaron's
douche,
got
yeah, and then he has a good arc. He has a good arc where
he has a
he's a
great arc. He
comeback
becomes
player.
boys with Gabe. But he's got a lot of baggage, man. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's got a lot of insecurities. And you come to really like Aaron because he's boys with Gabriel. He'll die for Gabriel. And you love Aaron and Baptiste because they're just dope, bro. You're like, bro, those are my gay boys. I love those guys. Like, power.
We're
Power
allies.
to them.
Yeah.
We're allies. But Aaron in this book, bro, it is not right what Jay did to him. Like, it already was not right. But what happens later in this book, bro, is truly, bro, we use words here on It's Lit Book Reviews too often to where sometimes they can lose their steez. But what happens to Aaron is diabolical, bro. It is diabolical. It's the actual true definition of the word diabolical. Jay Kristoff went to the darkest place, the darkest recesses of his mind and said, what can I do to Aaron DeCoste?
And if you're a guy that's, in your late 20s, early 30s, I guarantee you've had a conversation with one of your boys about, would you do this for me at one point in your life? That's the irony of this. Is just, dude,
that's crazy,
would you
bro.
do this for me?
Thought about it. I've not thought about it that way.
And Jay
it's
was
like, bro, would you do this for $1 million? Like, how many dollars
would you do this to save my life, dude? This would save my life. Would you do this to save my life?
Yeah.
How much of a boy are you for me? So it's just,
and
the
you
irony.
Really can't know until you're on your knees in front of Nikita, if you really would or not.
The
and
definition,
Aaron does, bro.
The way that Jay really just leaves nothing to the imagination, not only with his words, but then he also just really, the words are not enough. He's like, let's go ahead and
this is a picture book, as we all know.
Yeah. But
so to kind of cover what kind of goes down, what's going down for Dior with the Divock. So there's a couple of different things we learned. One, there's some confrontation. There's a little bit of friction between Nikita and his sister. She's the eldest, but he's like the male. He's the leader of Blood Divock, but she's the eldest. So there's some friction there. Their followers both have friction with each other. Like they like their person more. And it's because they're all thralled. And that leads us to what essentially is going on here is Lily wants to thrall Dior. Nikita gets Aaron, and they don't really know what this big special deal is about Dior. Kiara tells them, and they seemingly believe her, but they're still not totally convinced what's the big deal? We're vampires. We heal from our wounds anyway. Why does Fabian want her so much? So there's just this back and forth where Lily wants to keep Dior for her own, but Nikita's kind of toying with the idea, especially once the twins show up, of giving her to Fabian so that they can get some resources from the Voss.
Yeah, their lands are a little dry.
Yeah, they've dried up the lands.
There's economics always come into play,
dude. The geopolitics of the Empire of the Vampire world are actually kind of deep. So yeah, they've eaten up all the livestock, the humans. And you have this character, the way that they determine what Dior can do is one of the thrall for Lily. They call her Worm at first, and you don't know her name yet. But, dude, they just stab her to death. They have her looking like that servant girl in Dune Part 2 that Fade Routha just jabs with a knife over and over to see if it's sharp enough. They just do that to her, and they're like, all right, fix her. Prove that you can do what Kiara said you can do. And she does, and so that's the second person. Just keep in mind, the second person since this book started that Dior has healed who is thralled to a vampire. And that's just important to remember. I didn't realize that yet, but it is important to remember that.
And, dude, just a side caveat, I will say the way Jay describes like her walking in and there being literal people like hanging from the ceiling and them just like, oh, you want some, slicing someone's throat and it just like pouring down into goblets, dude, was honestly so tough to read. I mean, it sets the scene really well, but dude, it's just such a brutal picture that it puts in your mind of like what these people are doing. These vampires.
Yeah, and you learn from all that the Divok vampires are like the most brutal and just the most decadent of all the vampires. Like all vampires in this world, they don't care for human life. They're violent. They're disgusting. They're evil. But the Divok are specific, like they're wasteful. Like part of the reason they've dried up all their resources is because they're just pouring blood out on the floor, which would be the same for us. It'd be like us being in a drought and us having a bunch of water and just pouring it all over the floor and like licking it up if we want or not. You can just leave it there. So they're being kind of wasteful, just slitting throats left and right. It's disgusting. Jay really gets into his gross bag with all of this. So yeah, I mean, this picture, I don't know why they made her Dior look like that. This is supposed to be like a
Dressing
good
her up,
look.
man.
And I get it, bro. Like this whole book's it's like during the French Revolution, except that's nothing actually in the French Revolution. It's just like
Yeah.
that time is what it feels like the setting is.
Yeah.
Just that era, because they all wear these stupid wigs or whatever and powder their faces and wear the corsets or whatever they're called. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on in House Divok. You learn
Which
that
there's
Kiara
still.
is.
Wait, you keep going. Kiara's what?
Well, you just learn that she's a former lover of Nikita, so she's got this really jealous, especially when Aaron comes into the picture, which I guess we can
And
go ahead and
dude,
get that because that is the next picture. I don't
can
know
we
if
even
I can
show
show
it?
this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
I'm gonna cover I'm gonna cover I mean I'm gonna cover some of it with my hand. So I mean that's just dude, when you know the context of this, this is disgusting, bro. This is disgusting to look at. This is grape. This is grape in this picture. So Nikita right here, and I'm putting my hand here because of course the artist had to include the base of this vampire shaft in this image. But basically what Nikita is doing, to keep it brief, is Aaron, you're either gonna suck my blood, and that means more than just what I said, or Baptiste is gonna die. So you're either gonna
Yeah.
suck my blood and become my vampire boy, or he's gonna die. And so he makes Aaron willingly, like Aaron voluntarily has to service the Blackheart against
Yep.
his will, essentially. And
Yep.
dude, now I will say, dude, when this scene started happening, I was like, if Jay goes into the detail that he has gone into with previous promiscuous scenes, I will put this book down. I will not only put this book down, I'll put it somewhere else in my house. I don't even want it in my bedroom. I was about to be mad, dude. If he went into detail over Essential Grape, I was going to be like, okay, dude, like this is just too much. He doesn't go into the detail he usually does, but he gives you plenty to where when I finish this chapter, like here's the picture, and then here's the end of that chapter, like on the next page. I put this book down for a minute. I closed this book. I put the bookmark in its place. I closed this book. I set it on my desk, and I crossed my hands. I didn't get up. I crossed my hands, and I just sat there for a minute. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. I'm not lying. I sat there for a minute and was like, "This is sick, dude. What just happened to Aaron is one of the most disturbing things I've ever read about." And look, I know there's real world precedents for things like this happening. I understand, but it just, dude, it was just horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. And then a few
So
chapters later,
diabolical.
Lily basically does the same thing to Dior. Now hers is a little less
Yes.
deviant, but she does start thralling Dior.
And
Or
I guess we haven't really talked
so you
about
think.
it's a drinking blood from a vampire on 3 separate nights is what on night
Yeah,
3
3 nights in a
is
row.
when
Yeah.
you're cooked basically.
Yeah. You're chalked, bro.
So that is chalked, as the kids say, which I
Mhm.
mean ends up being a huge deal. Which for Dior, it ends up cat's out of the bag. It doesn't affect her, maybe because of her
Yeah.
blood or whatever.
But she's
But
acting like it
for
does.
she is, and she's doing a good job. But Aaron is different. She can't just give him some of her blood like to heal
Yeah.
him.
He's a
Because
vampire. Yeah.
he's a cold blood, so it's different. He
Yeah.
can't, I guess, have her blood. I guess he can.
It would kill him if he got her blood.
Oh,
If he
because
drank her
because
blood,
now
he would
he's a
die.
diva. Yeah,
Because he's
exactly. Okay,
undead.
yeah.
Yeah.
For a second, I forgot what
Um,
was different about him and Gabriel, but
yeah.
yeah. So he's
Yeah.
actually vampire. Yeah, so it would kill him.
Like he
So the
actually
only way to
died and was
unthrall
brought
him,
back to life.
yeah, the only way to unthrall him would be to kill Nikita. basically.
Yes.
Is the way
So
to
he would still be a
loosen it.
vampire. He just wouldn't be under the influence of Nikita
Yeah.
if Nikita was killed. If only. So that kind of we're in book 3 now.
We're getting
I'm
close to
trying to
when
see like
Gabriel
where
goes on
exactly
his
that
journey.
ends. Yeah, now
Like
we're
with
on
what's going
I
on.
think we're on Gabriel. Yeah, and at this
Well, there is
point
a
what is
part too,
funny
which
is
is
at this
sad.
point
There's the part that's sad
what?
where Dior escapes maybe night 1, and it's what's his face that
Yeah,
turns him
dude.
in, dude, and it's like, man, you
I
just
think it's
really
night
hate to see
2.
that.
Yeah.
Night
Yeah,
2.
you find out that Baptiste had already been started on the
Baptiste.
drink, and so it didn't take
He
3
was
nights.
cooked.
And from our perspective, he was already cooked, so he turns Dior in. But you can tell he's fighting it because he's like crying when he does it. Which, dude,
Yeah.
Baptiste is like might be the best secondary character in the story. Like
He
Baptiste is just an OG.
Yeah. I kind of get Perrin vibes from him. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
Just kind of
yeah. That's that
calm.
racism coming out.
I
I'm just
mean,
playing.
first of all, he's not black in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, he
And
is
I
in
don't
the
know if I
show.
should
That's
have.
the only reason I think of him that way. You got a problem with him
It,
with them making him black in the show, dude? That's a little Wheel of Time racist joke for you guys. So then we swap over to back to Gabriel after he has been why am I Mufasa? I said Musafa the first time. It's Mufasa. He gets
Mufasa. Yeah, he gets
Mufasa
Lion
by
King.
Celine, falls to the depths. He gets Lion King, no Simba. Well, I guess there is a Simba. Actually, it's kind of crazy, dude, because she's a cat. So actually, there is a
Yeah.
Simba that shows up. So Phoebe shows up, saves him, um, and they start bonding. You can tell right from the get go, I was like, all right, so Gabriel and Phoebe for sure are getting together.
Dude,
That
and the
becomes pretty
one
obvious pretty quick.
the one scene when they go to like refuel up at whatever side village where they had already done some damage before in book 1, Gabriel and Dior, that is. And dude, he's having that dream where he like dances with
Oh,
Phoebe the
dude,
night before
yeah,
and gets hammered, and then
yeah,
goes up to his room, falls asleep, I guess, and he thinks he's dreaming of Astrid because this happens. This has happened multiple times throughout
yeah.
the story.
It
I can't
happens to
remember
him
if
a
it
lot. He
happened
has
at
a
this
lot of wet
point.
dreams.
And then, dude, it's just him, releasing and then coming to, and it's like Phoebe saying, "You've been holding out for a while, eh?" Or whatever she
Yeah,
says.
her
And
Irish
it's like,
accent. He's
oh
like,
no.
Astrid? Yeah, that part was super uncomfy. And I think I have it right here. Which the way that he did this picture, bro, is again, bro, just sick, dude. The way Gabriel sees this moment is real life Phoebe with Astrid, him hallucinating Astrid behind Phoebe, like caressing her hair. And it's like,
Dude,
Gabriel,
every sexual
what are you
moment.
hallucinating right now? Like, yeah, dude, I do have to say, bro, like Jay, in book 3, like there are definitely some that are not sexual, like the next picture you see Latchy and some of the Silver Saints. But dude, at least half these pictures are just the sexual
Excuse
scenes,
me.
and it makes it seem like this whole book is just full of sex, and it's really not. Again, we talked in the first video. I could do without it completely, but it is pretty sparse, just sprinkled throughout the book. I feel like it's usually at the
Yeah.
beginning of each part, basically each book. He's like, all right, here's a sex scene. Now let's get on with the story. But it's he chooses every one of those scenes to have art for. And we
Yeah.
talked about this before we started recording. Like, bro, if I don't see a drawn image of Gabriel and Fabian facing off in book 3, but I do see an image of him hallucinating his wife blowing him, I'm going to be pissed. So let's get some action scenes in there, Jay. Like, that's what the art's really for, bro. If it, like, there's plenty of places I could go to find some of these
Dude,
other
I'm
images.
gonna make a bet, dude. There will be a picture of there will be a gay sex scene picture 1000% between the rekindled boys. I guarantee you, dude. I
Yeah, I mean,
guarantee
I'm
you.
sure. I'm sure. We can only imagine how diabolical it will get. So then
Hopefully,
we pull up. When does he get got by the boys?
so he gets
What is
got.
happening when he gets got by Latchlin and
So
Xavier
so
and
he
all
gets
them?
got after the sex scene because remember they get into a fight and he leaves on his own, and because she's left.
That's right.
Phoebe
That's right.
Phoebe's
Phoebe
mad at
dips.
him because he kind of just. I mean, he tells her to get out and then tries to
Yeah, he was so dude.
realize.
He was such a dick about it. It's like, bro, that's
Yeah.
not Phoebe's fault. That is your fault
No.
for your own unworked through internal issues, bro. That's not Phoebe's fault.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Phoebe's the one, honestly, dude. I mean, I
Yeah.
do the end of this book is So tragic.
And
So yes,
so
you're right.
he
So
goes
she
off on his
leaves.
own, and that's when
Yeah.
Lockie returns, and it's like, oh,
That's when
Lockie's
young
been
Latchland pulls up with
to
the
San
boys.
Michon, and
Yeah,
he
he's
or no, he didn't go to San Michon. He went somewhere else and found out what had happened.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
Um,
the homies told him like en route or something like that. So yeah, and that one guy that Gabriel didn't kill back in book 1, I mean, he should have killed him because no one would have found out if he had just killed that guy. No, they would have thought somebody else. They would have thought anybody did
yeah.
it. But he had to leave some people alive. So yeah, that happens, but then Phoebe steps in again, bro. Phoebe saves after he's a dick to Phoebe. Phoebe saves him because Phoebe's an absolute dog. Well, she's a cat, but she's an absolute dog. And I mean, dude, she kind of messes up the Silver Saints, bro. And Lashland's supposed to
Oh,
be
dude.
like kind of like an S tier Silver Saint. We learn more about him later, and it makes sense. He's an S tier Silver Saint, and he kind of gets bodied by Phoebe, like they all do,
I mean,
right?
she really turns up on the lower tier ones for sure.
Oh yeah, she was like,
Like
"Oh,
it's
these
not
are
even
side characters
close.
that we don't know anything about." Let me go and tear that throat out. um, and then I mean, next image, of course, bro. It's not like a fight scene or something, bro. It's
It's
that
them in the
weird scene, bro, where
chateau.
he's like, "I'm not gonna touch you," or you can't touch me, and she just puts her hands behind her back. She's like, "Fine, you can touch me." And then you have, I mean, I'm not even showing it, bro. I mean, dude, if anybody watches this video and hadn't read the book, they're gonna be like, "All right, so they're reading smut." I mean, that's what it sounds like from a lot of these, dude.
Yeah.
We're skipping over a lot of the meat and potatoes. I am basing a lot of what I'm saying off the pictures. It's not my fault that Jay Kristoff decided all the pictures would be naked people. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
Um, so
But yeah, Phoebe and
oh,
them.
and we forgot to
Phoebe,
say,
they still
bro.
haven't.
Yeah, so they still haven't
Right. So
actually hooked up, but then they start to, and they're about to, and then Lashland shows up again with the boys when they're about to hook up, like when they try to. And dude, I love the moment where Jean Francois is like, "Bro, are you serious?" You can tell that all that dude cares about, he wants to hear about the sex scenes.
oh, dude,
He's
he's
Jay, bro.
diabolical.
Jay inserting
Yeah, Jay
himself into this
is.
story, bro. He is Jean Francois. Like, come
That's
on,
true.
bro. Tell me, you didn't get to have sex, bro. Come on. At least pretend you didn't.
Tell
Tell
me
me about
about
it.
it.
Come on.
Oh God.
So yeah, all that happens, and then, dude, this picture I remember looking at. I don't even what was happening
He
here.
ends
I
up
think this is when
convincing
Richie and
Lachlan.
fighting. They're just like falling through the sky. But yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
essentially.
he
How does he
tackles
do
him
that?
out the
Because that
top.
was a good moment.
He tackles him out the top, and then he basically has a chance to kill Lachlan, and he says, "I'm not going to," and that should show like that I'm not on the wrong side because I'm not as diabolical as
Yeah,
you think I am. Because he only
yeah,
knows what he's heard about Sam and Sean. He's like, "How could you kill Greyhand and all the boys?" And anyway, he gives him the rundown uh that Dior is the Grail and kind of explains that, and that's why they're all together and like where they're going, and for him to kind of just think on that, and they've already kind of murked the crew, but then at this point, that's when
yeah,
one of the guys shoots Phoebe with some silver shot, and it's
yeah,
stuck inside her, and he can't get it out, and that's
yeah,
the only thing that can really kill a dust dancer, and so that's when he gets the idea of let's take her up north. And at that point he can't feel Dior because I think
yeah.
he'd given
He
her
can't.
some of his
Which,
blood.
dude, I didn't get that, bro. Did from Dior's POV? I guess it was Celine, so she just didn't
Strip
know.
her down,
That's
maybe.
never referenced that she has that blood on her, and I thought they would have found it on her when they first got there because they can smell blood, but maybe it's in the vial, so it's capped off and you can't smell it. But that part was a little weird to me. But yeah, he's tracking her, but then he starts kind of losing her. But Phoebe gets shot with silver bullets, which is bad, just as bad for a dusk dancer as it is for a vampire. So Gabe's freaking out, of course, because he's like, dude, I still haven't got my nut. Like, I have to heal her. And so
We've
he
got to
takes
get
her
her
up to the
back.
highlands. And then that's when we meet an absolute Helga of a woman,
And
old
Ulfir.
bear paws.
Bear Paul.
Yeah, literally. So a good old Ulfrill pulls up. So he pulls up into the homeland of all the dust dancers, all the shapeshifters, all the weirdos.
That kind of goes by pretty
And
fast. I don't know why I
Yeah,
thought,
they
like, upon
definitely.
reread, I thought that that was a longer section in the book, but he kinda gets in and out
Yeah,
up there. I mean, a lot happens, obviously, and then we just kinda leave
yeah.
him, and we don't really know until,
I mean, so much
like,
happens, bro. I mean,
he's brought back. There's a lot that happens,
yeah,
like, off page, um,
yeah. Which,
but
dude, I will
he
say,
does
just
get his
to
nut.
he does finally, and he almost ends up getting killed for it. But I will say, I really appreciate Jay not forcing us to go every step of the way with these characters. I'm totally
Yeah,
fine the way he did it, where after this specific part, he swaps to Celine, and the next time you see Gabe, it's from Celine's POV. Like he's pulled
yeah,
up at this point, and I'm like, dude, I love that, bro. I did not need to see the whole horse ride from the
yeah,
Highlands over to
I agree.
the Divock household. So I do really like that he does that.
And
Dude,
that's when
what
you
is this
figure out
picture even from?
that they're sipping on that dust dancer blood, because that's when he it's crazy. I will say, for as much smut that's in this, most, if not all of them, have purpose. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah, that's the
getting it
thing, bro.
on
Is
with
is
her, and that's
Jay?
how he finds out that, like, wait, I'm taking
Yeah,
on all of these dust dancers by myself
yeah.
after I
Which that
just
scene was sick.
drank
I mean,
her
he is
down.
tossing them, bro. That one chick
Yeah,
is like 18 feet taller, that dude, and he like grabs her by the head and just tosses her. And you're like,
yeah,
that was pretty wild. So then he realizes, I'm a god right now. What happened? Oh, I
yeah,
almost killed Phoebe. That's why I drank
yeah,
almost all of her blood. Um, so yeah, that whole part's cool. I mean, the whole thing just with the Highlands, to touch on that, the blight has affected them a ton, which that brings me. Every time I read about the blighted lands, I'm like, dude,
yeah,
where's Rand? Like, am I
yeah.
reading the Wheel of Time
Where
right
is
now?
he?
But it's affected them a lot, to where every time they shapeshift, they become more and more like the animal, even when they're in human form. So they're starting to lose their ability to be completely one or the other. There's all this infighting between clans. So Gabriel's pulling up at like a really bad time, but luckily he has a dying Phoebe with him, and he's like, I'm just here to save her. So that probably helped him. Like if they
Yeah,
had pulled up and Phoebe was fine, he probably would have died pretty quickly. But because they can see that he's trying to save Phoebe's life, it works out. And then they end up showing them, like the whole time, like you mentioned earlier, we know Kiara had this gold goblet on a necklace. We see a lot of the other blood Divock have that thing. And you're like, what is that? But you're also getting hints. How did they conquer Osway in 2 years? Like, how have they
yeah.
done this so quickly? Even as vampires, there's no way they did this. But you find out they are drinking dust dancer blood to make them the Incredible Hulk.
And that's like the
So that's
final
what you find out.
straw that gets them
Hmm.
to come, because they have that whole meeting, and Phoebe and Gabriel try and convince them, and basically no one's gonna do it because, like, it would weaken them in some way, and they're still like infighting, and but that seems to be the final straw, which you don't know though until, basically, it
Yeah,
switches to Celine, and she gets to a certain climactic point, and then it's like, wait, Gabe's here.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because and before that, another kind of just little tidbit is Phoebe is essentially the one leading the cause, trying to get all of the Dust Dancers to unite and go to war with the vampires, with the Divock. And she tells them about the Grail. And there's this little reference to like a Highlander prophecy that she's like the daughter that will kind of unite everybody and destroy the Blight. So, there's little tidbits sprinkled in here and there. They're cool. So then we switch
you
from
find
them
out that
making
she's
that
married
discovery.
though. That's
Dude,
when
we
you
find
also
well,
find
she
out
used to
she's
be.
married.
That's how they
Used to
connect,
be
bro. That's how they connect
Connor.
over their loss of
There's
their
Connor.
spouses and children. Connor, Conor McGregor, know yourself. So yeah, she was married to Conor McGregor, but then he got subbed by Khabib, and they never saw him again. They didn't know what happened
No,
to him. Also, by the way, a crazy thing that we learned as well is that one of the other Highlanders killed her mom and is wearing her mom's skin as like
that's
a
insane.
coat. And Phoebe just tells Gabe, he's like, "Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, that's my mom he's wearing." And you're just like, dude, this culture is insane. Um, so then we switch back once that discovery is made, and Gabriel's fighting naked, but then makes that discovery again. Everybody's got to be naked. Then we switch back to Celine, and very quickly at the start of Celine's next, she's still in moth form, just watching Celine from the raft or watching Dior from the rafters. At this point, Celine thinks that Dior is fully thralled, because at the end of Celine's last POV was the third night of drinking blood for Dior. And you start this scene off thinking that Dior is thralled and just in love with Lily, and there's no hope. But then, right when Lily leaves the room, she starts hitting those forms, bro. She starts hitting those Kaladin and Adolin forms. Um, and then you realize, oh, something's not right. And that's when, dude, that's when we really make like a really big discovery in this book. That's when Jay starts dropping absolute bombs. That's when you find out that Dior not only is immune to vampire blood thralling her, but when she heals someone, when she gets her blood on a thralled person, they are no longer thralled to that vampire. So we first find out that Worm, which, dude, that scene was wild. Worm pulls up to kill her. Worm pulls up
Yeah.
with a knife in the air. And then Dior's like, I knew you'd come. Dior's just all of a sudden a mafia boss. She's like, I knew
Yeah.
you'd come. Like, and then they discover you can't be thralled. You were unthralled because of my blood. And that's pretty huge. So now she's got an inside girl with her, old Rain, who you come to find out later is like the princess of the place we're in, which is pretty sick. Um,
Dude, there's a whole
but yeah.
subplot too, though. The whole reason why Celine is kind of okay with her being taken there, not that she can do anything about it, is because
Oh, dude,
that's
I
where they
forgot.
needed to go
Yeah.
anyway, because there's supposedly
Yeah.
someone there. And so Celine is also looking for this other
Yeah.
ancient,
Celine the whole time was like, "Ah, pull up." She was trying
and
to
I
pull up on the
pull up.
ancient.
And that's when you start finding all these secret doors and they start kind of going around, and then they end up finding a kind of the place where there's this logo, this Nike swoosh logo for the Grail and whatnot. And so they show up in there, and that's when, I think she goes down somewhere where Celine can't go because it's holy ground, and it's like, wait,
Yeah.
what's down there? And she comes back up pissed, and that's
Yeah.
when
Dior's mad.
there's a lot of like things that start, like, you start laying seeds of like, okay, what is
Like, what's
this? What
actually going
really
on?
is? How
And it's
can Dior
crazy,
actually
dude.
help? Like, what is her
We
prophecy
we
of
have to
how she
come back to
breaks?
this. Yeah. We have to come back to this when we reveal everything at the end, bro, because Dior finding out what she finds out, which we don't find out till the very end of the book, but then
Yeah,
proceeding to basically like do what she does, it's almost like, bro, what was Dior thinking? Like, not that she did anything
yeah,
wrong, but it's like, bro, she had to have felt defeated. Like how do we actually win this once we find out what we do? So
yeah,
that's an interesting thing we'll have to come back to once we get to the end. But yeah, at this point, Dior already has kind of hinted that she thinks Celine might have dropped Gabriel rather than him just falling. And obviously Celine's a bug, so she can't deny or confirm that. Really, I mean, she can tap and that stuff with her wings, but now Dior is like even more sketched out about Celine, like not really talking to her, not revealing plans. But essentially, what Dior decides to do once we realize she can unthrall people, she wants to unthrall as many people as she can in this place amongst the Divok, so that they can take over, rebel, escape. You don't really know what exactly they're going to be able to do, but she's trying to unthrall as many homies as she can.
yeah. And that's where it's like, that's where her youth, I guess, shows, and but I guess that's why she's the Grail. That's kind of like the theme of her just trying to save everybody and doesn't want anyone to
Yeah,
die. When it's like, look, that's just not possible. People are going to have to get sacrificed, which I guess then leads us,
yeah,
now that that's the big theme, the big climax point where right before what's his face comes in, Gabriel comes into before they kind of start going back and forth, is that the girl, I wish I knew her name, that you see, and it's the
Isla,
forever
Ilsa.
love girl, is Isla, yeah, the one who's supposed to be loving Joaquin. You find out she really doesn't. She loves Nikita, and that's who she's been talking about this whole time. And it's not even that she's thralled; she just actually loves him. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's just a sad moment because that scene is brutal, where Nikita makes like each person like stab the other person's partner to like make sure they're
Yeah,
still thralled, which he just knows, and it's just a sick game.
yeah.
Um,
Dude, that part was so
and
sick. Yeah, it was diabolical.
that was so tough. And I mean, I
But
will
dude,
say,
Lily doesn't really know what's going on.
no, she
Nikita just
doesn't. She
starts
got
pulling all
pulled.
this stuff, and Lily's like, "What are you doing, Nikita?
Why are you killing
You're
all my
killing all my
people? Yeah,
thralls."
yeah. And anyway, so that kind of leads to there, which then after that moment, that's when I started reading physically, because I was like, all right, let's land this plane here, because it just
Mhm.
starts getting
Mhm.
crazy. Because obviously you find out Gabriel has showed up, which is a big deal because Kiara says she killed Gabriel, and she's kind of the
Yeah.
supposed to be a reliable source for all this, which makes them start to question
Mhm.
Dior and why she have her.
Well,
And
dude, and
so
we forgot to
anyway,
say, bro. We forgot. We have to go back because you remind me. We have to go back just a little bit before all this happens. Aline and Alba pull up to the Blood
yeah,
Divok camp,
or
and
Fabian.
firstly, Kiara claimed to kill Gabriel and the two eldest twins of Fabian, and then they pull up with a little host, and they say, "Look, we will give you guys some food. We'll give you like 2,000 humans, so you guys can survive the winter or whatever it is, the summer, whatever the hell. But you got to give us Dior." And they say no, but there's this whole scene where Fabian pulls up in the form he's just controlling the mind of like a little kid vampire. And dude, Fabian's got aura, bro. He can pull up as a
Yeah, he
dead
does.
kid with like no eyeballs, and he's got aura, dude. He calls Nikita, he says, "My beloved." And so you find out that like him and Nikita had a relationship back in the day. And dude, Fabian's the one, bro. Like Fabian is I'm so excited to see what happens with Fabian and Gabriel in book 3. Like, dude, I don't even know if it's true that he's dead. We don't know for sure that he's dead. Like, so many things could happen in book 3. But dude, Fabian has the most aura in this book. Be honest, who has more aura than Fabian?
It's tough. I mean, because he's on the page so
Maybe
few times,
Phoebe
it
when she's
makes him
naked.
have more aura. I mean, obviously Gabriel's the coolest character still to me.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what carries this book is because he's such a strong main character. It's like
Yeah.
a more talkative Logan Nine Fingers kind of vibe. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah, it
he's
is.
just so witty with the things that he says, but he's always
Yeah.
joking. And I mean, like you said before, he
Yeah.
he just takes L after L. So I mean, it's so easy to cheer for him because I mean,
Yeah.
why is he even still like trekking on? And that's what makes the end of
Yeah.
this like cut so much deeper is because he finally has like he's lost everything. Literally everything that he's fought for, he's lost. So he puts his faith in Dior. And not to jump to the end that far, but it's like that's where it's like he carries the story. But
Yeah.
no, Fabian still, man, they're gonna be some quips back and forth because again, not to
Yeah,
jump
dude.
even further ahead, but like they kind of have some dialogue, and
Yeah.
Fabian and Gabriel. And Gabriel has some solid one liners, bro. He has two, especially to Nikita. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I will say Gabriel low key is the one. I mean, obviously he has to
Oh
be, but
yeah, I mean
his
Gabriel's the
past
one. Yeah.
experience that you can't like that you don't really see on page, but you just have heard the lore about from others.
Yeah.
And dude, the one liners that he's able to throw to these ancients who like can talk down on
Yeah.
anyone about like, dude, last time I
Mm-hmm.
saw you, I was wiping the blood of your whatever relative off my sword. Like just some
Mm-hmm.
crazy one liner like that, and it's like that's kind of hard, dude. That's kind of
Absolute
hard, dude.
insanity. So let's make our way there. So we're almost there. We're in the last 150 pages of this book. So Team Gabriel has pulled up at Blood
Pull up.
Divok, but Dior gets a message out to them that through Celine that she doesn't want them to attack just yet because she wants a chance to get as many thralled,
Oh yeah.
unthralled as possible. Because Nikita's plan for Gabriel's invasion or siege or attack, whatever, is to put all the thralled humans in the front line so that they have to kill a bunch of people to get to Nikita and the other vampires. So Celine pulls up looking like an absolute baddie, bro. If Celine could
She's an
completely grow her
assassin.
face back full time, she'd be
She
so bad.
reminds me of Wraith, dude. Now that I think about it, from Apex Legends.
Phasing. I mean, she's phasing. She has truly is phasing via the mode.
She,
So she pulls up and is like, "Look, Gabriel, you got to chill." And meanwhile, Dior is back doing her thing, trying to unthrall people. But this is where we get some more tea, if you will, as the Swifties say. When Celine pulls up,
yeah, we haven't
she
talked
goes
about
into
sex
Gabriel's
in a while.
tent and they start chit chatting. Wait, talking
Oh,
about
never mind.
what?
Never mind. I thought you were gonna go into another sex scene. Keep going.
No, dude, I'm going to try to stay away from those as much as possible. So Celine basically starts talking to Gabriel, and dude, again, man, I keep thinking a scene's going to come up where Celine starts really dropping some facts, some cold, hard truths. And she kind of does here, but she still leaves so much unsaid. But you find out that Wolfric, who she has already identified as her former master in the cult that she's a part of, essentially, whatever it is, this
Asani or
what are they
whatever.
called?
Asani.
The
Asani.
Sanguimancers, Asani, the faithless or the faithful, depending on what side of history you're on. But you find out that Wolfric is Gabriel's dad, and that when Gabriel was a young kid, he got really sick. He was about to die. His mom called on Wulfric. He came and put a little blood in the chalice for him. Selene met him in that moment, so he already knew Selene. So I'm sure in book 3 we're going to get some Selene Wulfric interactions. But you discover that, and then in the battle that ensues in the following pages, at the end of that
So then,
battle,
not only does she know who the dad is, that's her trainer. She goes to him, and that's who
her
trained her up.
trainer, but she also killed him. You find out at the very end. She also killed him, and that's obviously at the end, but we can just go ahead and say all those things together, bro.
Yeah.
Selene is just, I want to love Selene because I feel like she's been through for everything Gabriel's been through, bro. Like Selene has been through just as bad, if not worse. Because dude, this girl's
she's got seemingly no one on her side. She seemingly has literally zero people on her side.
She's alone, bro. She's clearly a basket case, like, because she's got all these souls inside her. So you feel for Selene, and you want her to be on the right side. But then she does stuff like this. So you don't find out in the tent that she killed Wulfric, but she tells him that that's your dad. And then pretty quickly after that happens, Selene, her moat, is watching Dior and sees the scene break out where they've been discovered, where Nikita knows that Dior has been unthralling people. And so then Gabriel's like, all right, we got to attack. We got to go right now. And that's pretty much, I mean, I think we're in final battle at this
final
point.
Phase.
Have we missed anything before final battle?
No, I mean, they try and send somebody out.
Bro. I hate Nikita, bro.
They send someone out to try and tell the boss, like, yeah, if you'll come help us, we'll do the exchange. And they cut that girl's arms off. That was a crazy scene.
Right, yeah.
And then Gabriel
Gabriel kills him. Yeah. So when they pull up to start fighting, and this is really important because of the way this book ends, bro, Gabriel is so desperate and just wants Dior to be safe that our faithless main character prays. He prays before the battle to the Redeemer, which we haven't talked about this much, but Gabriel does not believe in the Redeemer. His faith is now in Dior. Like, his aegis burns a different color now. Like, he does not believe in God, bro. And it's not even that he doesn't believe. He either believes there is not a God, or if there is, he does not care about us type shit. So, but at this point, dude, he's so desperate, he starts praying. And then the battle ensues, bro. I mean, when you talk final battle, I feel like we can jump around a little bit here because we're in the final days. Like, what are you thinking of when you're thinking of the final battle?
The first crazy part, which helps, is that Joaquin, plays a huge role here. He steps up big to the plate. He was given some of Dior's blood, puts it in to some of the liquor that they drink or whatever that's supposed to be nasty, and that's because Dior had heard from Gabriel that people drink before a fight to kind of settle the nerves, and so that basically unlocks, to where they're free from thraldom, and they're the main ones like doing that first volley, and so they kind of capture the first wall without like losing many people. Yeah. And so they're able to kind of make moves, and then that's when to stay in that same storyline is Nikita and I always want to say Oscar, bro, but it's not Oscar. Nikita and the guy who he made bend the knee, Aaron DeCoste.
Aaron.
Him and Aaron Oscar, show up, and they're just kind of causing havoc, and that's when Baptiste tries to step in and like be like, oh no, I can change him or whatever.
Speaking of Nikita,
that almost
bro,
was bad.
Battle. Well, dude, but just the whole mechanic of him being able to sling his sword and then his body just follows where it goes is a terrifying mechanic in this world, bro. You got a 700-year-old. Yeah, dude, it's like Thor. You got a 700-year-old ancient evil vampire who can sling an 8-foot tall sword and just destroy everything in its path, but then also his body follows it. Like, dude, that is terrifying, bro. That is a terrifying mechanic, and it's one of my favorite things as far as like the action. Yeah, dude, you got to get close, which is, it's smart the way Jay does everything because of Gabriel's power. You think, oh, it should be easy for him to just kill whatever vampire he wants, but he can't just do that because he can't get close to these guys. It's too dangerous.
We're close. We can restart. So I mean, you're saying the mechanic is sick of him throwing the sword and following it. Oh my gosh, what a
I mean, Gabriel is looking ready to absolutely kill in that photo.
Body love.
So what looks to be happening is that Team Gabriel is like probably going to win, and then of course, bro, the classic pincer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Team Voss pulls up from the rear, and Aline and Alba are being good little emperors in the back, and they're just sending their hordes forward. So now you're in a situation where the good guys have to split up. Some people have to focus on Nikita, which is namely, as far as named characters, Lachlan and Baptiste go that way.
Wait,
And
we
then,
we missed a part. I
oh, we
misspoke.
missed Lachi pulling up.
Kiara. Well, and Kiara gets like left because she
Yeah.
starts fighting I want to say Lachlan, maybe, or someone. Maybe it is Lachlan. I can't remember. Regardless, she starts fighting
And
someone.
Nikita's
They
about
kind
to
of start
die.
losing, and so he, swords away
Nikita bails.
and
Yeah.
leaves her, and that's what kind of breaks Kiara, which is a big plot point because she ends up kind of being like, "Look, I've tried, but now I'm done." Basically,
Yeah. So
I guess
when
she
when
hasn't drank
Lachlan
from it in a
pulls
while.
up with the boys, it's looking bad for Nikita, and he almost gets got. So he bails and leaves Kiara sitting there. She ends up bailing too. She's fine. But Nikita's injured at this point. Like his jaw's hanging off. He's got a bullet that went through his face, stuff like that. And you're right. Very important to note. Kiara at this point decides, all right, I'm letting Dior out. And so
Yeah,
she goes on a little side journey, and we'll get to how that ends. But Lachlan, he says a cool thing too. He says that I told you that Gabriel last time he saw Lachlan was said next time you better come with an army, like if he wants
yeah,
to kill Gabriel. And Lachlan did pull up with like a 50-man little force, but to help
yeah.
Gabriel,
You gotta love
which was
that.
cool. This is where you also, at some point in here, you learned that Lachlan he is of the blood Divok, and like not a vampire, but that's like the blood he has. But he was like thralled like to Nikita at one point, and Gabriel saved him like after a battle, ended up making him a silver saint. So Lachlan's like an absolute problem. He got trained by Nikita, who is a warlord, 700-year-old vampire, but now he's also a silver saint with the Aegis, with all the training. Lachlan's an absolute dog. You do not want to find yourself on the opposite end of a battle with Lachlan. So he's going crazy. Phoebe, Gabriel, and Celine go the other direction to fight the Voss. And this is where you just get, I mean, they kind of dog walk the twins. Celine is taking on one, Phoebe and Gabriel taking on another, which I kind of love, dude. That it's very clear throughout this book that Celine's kind of like the biggest problem in this story.
Yeah.
Like the vampires,
Especially if she's
even,
fully healthy. Like if she's on
yeah,
ground zero and not like just severely hurt or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's an absolute problem. Like even the ancient eldest twins of Fabian were scared of her. Just seeing one Isani terrified them because they know what she can do. So they're battling the twins, and essentially they win. But as they are starting to defeat the twins, Fabian pulls up as a kid again, and he's like, Gabriel, please stop. You better stop. And Gabriel basically looks him in the eyes and kills his daughter in front of him in a diabolical way, just boiling her at the throat until she turns to ash. Celine is just sucking the other one dry, taking her soul. And Fabian makes a comment, though. He was like, are you sure that she's the side you should be on, Celine? So why don't you ask your sister what happened to her master? And that's where he plants the seed where you find out, okay, Celine actually killed Wolfric. And you keep getting this weird vibe. The couple times she's killed a vampire and sucked all their blood out, she's like, and by this blood, we will have eternal life. And you don't know why that's important that she's saying that, but it all starts kind of coming together in these moments where Gabriel's like, first of all, my sister is absolutely diabolical, but why does she keep saying that, bro? Why does she
Yeah.
keep quoting the Bible when she kills a vampire and drinks all of his blood? Like, what's going on? But they don't have time to address that right now because Dior's about to get killed. So then we hop back to Dior. And while I take a sip of water, why don't you tell us what's happening there, brother?
Yeah. So Dior ends up getting let loose, like let out of her prison cell by Kiara because Kiara is kind of sick of it now. Um, Diora, like with being betrayed, but not betrayed, but Nikita keeps picking other people above her, and that's
Mm-hmm.
all she wants is his, like, you know,
Yeah, she loves
his
Nikita.
love, and he's not giving it to her anymore. especially after the whole, unfortunate turn of events for her where she claims that, all these things happen and she, you find out that she's the one who actually lost her little vial, which is how they know now about the whole dust
Mhm.
dancer thing. But
Mhm.
anyway, so she tries to break, Dior out, does so, and then Dior gets Rain and heals her up a little bit. And as they're going, they get intercepted by Lily and
Kane
Kane. Yeah, that's who it is.
and the dog, which I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So they end up fighting, doing their whole thing, and they end up going down to where, long story short, they transfer down fighting wise. Kane gets killed. Um, the
Mhm.
dog is severely wounded, and
But
Dior's
importantly,
wounded.
during the fight, the dog bites Dior
Yes, the dog does bite
and
Dior. That
punctures
is the
her
key.
skin
Taste a
in
little bit of that Dior
Portanto.
blood.
Mm-hmm.
So they
That
fight.
good boy.
They make it to the holy ground and they think they're safe, and that's when kind of one of the other really big reveals happens where Lily is able to read on the door in some language, basically, one of the things about vampires can't enter a home unless if they're invited in, and it's basically a prayer from the Almighty inviting, vampires
Inviting
in
anyone to come to the altar, essentially.
if they're
And she's
gonna
like,
repent.
that sounds like an invitation to me.
Yeah, and so
So
she
she
does like
starts
a.
walking holy ground, dude.
Mhm.
That was a crazy scene.
That was tough. That was tough to see, and then it gets even tougher because it's just one of those things where, especially, you just kind of had to see it coming when you're seeing all of the other vampires turn to dust, like the whole
Mm-hmm.
black dust mechanic. And it's like, okay, Lily's daggered here, down
Mm-hmm.
bad. And I mean,
Well,
not to
because we
really
didn't
skip to the
mention
end, but it's
she
just,
fights Kiara. Like Kiara almost kills Lily, but
yeah,
then Lily gets the better of her and makes Kiara delete herself. So
yeah,
Lily's really injured at this point too, which is important.
yes. And there's a big fight down below with Dior. Dior is down bad, but so is Rain. And there's the whole scene where Dior gets her hand like literally just
Stabbed into the
attached to the
stone.
wall. And I think at this point is when, the wolf ends up coming and helping fight as well. I can't remember like the
Mhm.
exact like timing of it all, but
Yeah, he switches
her
sides.
just absolutely ripping her hand off to try and save Rain, who's like been hurt really bad and needs help.
Mhm.
Um, it is just a crazy scene. But going back and forth, Dior's just trying to get blood on Lily, and it's one of those things where you think, I guess Lily is dead, and Gabriel shows up, and so
And
does
wait, before you get
Celine.
to that, so before we get to the very end of this scene, we do have to hop back because that's how the book does it. Just to mention, there is a whole thing that happens. So Aaron and Baptiste are fighting.
Oh
Baptiste doesn't
yes,
want to fight Aaron because he still loves him. But then he starts doing the classic. I know you're in there. You remember the first time we met? Do you remember this? And
yeah,
Aaron's like, I do remember that. But then Nikita shows up, bro, with Latchy under his foot. Latchy's almost dead. And then he tells Aaron, or Aaron says, let me be the one to kill him. And so it looks like he's about to kill Baptiste with Nikita's greatsword. But then Aaron turns around and he's like, Nikita, you do have my heart, but you don't have all of it. And then he throws the sword down, which gives Baptiste an opening to come out of nowhere with his Thor hammer and start really messing Nikita up. And then it looks like Nikita's going to get back and potentially kill Baptiste, but he shouldn't have brought Latchy with him, bro. You better kill Latchy if you want Latchy to be out of the fight. I don't care who you are, bro. He's an absolute dog. He's almost dead on the ground, and he grabs Nikita's foot and like gives Baptiste a chance. And dude, he absolutely caves Nikita's head in. Nikita dies, bro. I never would have guessed. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's so good. But the fact that Baptiste killed Nikita was awesome, bro. I was
was.
kind of hoping it would be Aaron, but that would have been too obvious for Aaron to have turned around and killed Nikita with his own sword. It would have been a little too obvious. But for him to be kind of stuck in the middle, where he's like, I'm not going to kill Baptiste, but I'm not going to kill Nikita either. I'm just going to throw the sword down, and then Baptiste does it. I mean, I thought that was great.
It was good. It was well. It was well done, well written, and then I think the next scene is all like is equally as well written. But it's just like you
Mm-hmm.
have to see it coming, where it's like, kill her, dude, kill her. Why is she not fully killed and dead? And again,
And it's
she's kind
because
of
she's
bubbling
heartless,
underwater.
bro, which is
She's
crazy.
heartless. That
They
whole
thought they
heartless thing.
stabbed her. Yeah.
But no
So
dust. We didn't see dust. But then this is where, you understand Gabriel, because the plot of basically God promising the vampire, like the vampires are the what do you call them? Not prophets, but is it the
Yeah,
martyrs?
they're basically the priests
Yeah, the
who
priests.
killed the Redeemer, who is the Son of God. They killed him on the wheel. And we always thought by this blood they will have eternal life meant like stuff about believers
People,
going to
yeah.
the afterlife. You thought it was like a Jesus type thing, but you find out, bro, that it's a curse, dog. That this man, that the five people who killed the Redeemer were the five original ancient of each blood like line, the Divok, the Chastain, and so on. And so, dude, that's like this whole world we're living in. The reason vampires are there is because the Son of God cursed the people who betrayed him and made vampires. And then you find out with Gabriel's whole betrayal is you find out Celine knew the whole time, bro. Bro, why can't Celine just let us know? Why does she have to be like this,
They
bro?
can't all be on the same team. Yeah. And so rightfully so, Gabriel goes off. And then, of course, in that moment is when Lily
That's
decides
when
to
Lily
rise up from
wakes
the
up, bro.
dead and absolutely just,
She
you
hits
know.
that Superman on Zod and just snaps Dior's neck.
And so
And it's over with.
it's over. And
But
then,
wait, we forgot to say. We forgot to say when everyone comes in and we think the day is won, the dog pulls back up and the
oh,
dog has
yeah.
switched sides and helped Dior. Phoebe goes, Connor? And you find out that that dog who's been thralled to Lily this whole time is Connor,
Who's
her
dead?
husband.
Who's
And he
now
can't.
actually dead.
Yeah, dude. And then he tries to stop Lily when she grabs hold of Dior, and Lily rips his heart out and kills him. So like there had been this whole moment where Phoebe realizes her husband is alive and he's here with me now. And then she makes eye contact with Gabe. And from Celine's POV, we're like, dude, we can tell Gabriel is heartbroken because the woman he's made this connection with, he might have found love in this life again, but now she's found her husband. And now both of them are like, what do we do? Like, this is my husband. He's the same type of like he's a dust dancer like me. And so you're thinking all these difficult feelings are going on. And then Connor gets killed before he even gets to talk. Like he gets killed and then turns back into his human form, and apparently he's an absolute Chad. Like he's beautiful, but his heart's ripped out. And it's Gabriel's fault, bro. Like he blames Celine throughout this book for what happens in the end, and I get his point because she lied. But Gabriel tripping out and never being able to control his anger is why this happened. Like
Yeah.
if Gabriel had been standing there when Lily rose up from the water, Dior wouldn't have died. So I mean, it's just there's just this beautiful moment, and it's book two, so you know it's not going to last. But there's this beautiful moment where you think we have victory, and then Dior just gets absolutely snapped, and Gabriel's like, "All right, well, it's over." And now his relationship with Phoebe is likely ruined because she's probably going to blame him for Connor's death after she just reunited with him because he's the one who lost control and took everybody off guard and caused Connor to have to go in there. And dude, it's such a great, well written ending, but it is so tragic, man.
And then the
So
way it comes back to present time and he jumps across the river and they start going at it because, he's getting heated again, thinking about
that's
it.
how her face healed up, bro. Is because that's right. He jumps across the river and they fight, and some of his blood drips into to Celine. And so I think she can only heal when she gets the blood of someone
Well,
with
so,
vampire blood
but
in.
also something we didn't talk about is, and another reason why he's actually pissed when he sees her again for the first time, Gabriel to Celine, that is not because she pushed him off of the cliff. It's because he realizes, like, some of that wine that she gave him, she put her
That's
blood in it.
right.
So now
That's
she's got him
right.
twice.
She got him twice, yeah.
So she
So
only
yeah,
needs
you're
one
right,
more.
dude. I'm glad you brought that up because that takes us back to closer to the beginning of the book when Gabriel slaps Dior and he's angry. It seems kind of out of character, but maybe okay, I could believe it. But then you remember that Celine was saying stuff like, "Wow, Gabriel, you're really angry. What's wrong?" And you find out that she had already gotten him on the second drop of blood, and so he's over halfway to be enthralled to Celine. So dude, Celine is just bro, she sucks, bro. I like her a lot, bro, but She created so many of these problems.
Oh, dude, so
Like
many
so
of them.
many of these things are Celine's fault. Like she is the Eve of this story, bro.
Well,
Like
and then Gabriel leaves before the funeral, and that she makes a big point about that, and Celine does. So he's just gone. They don't know where he's at. They have the whole funeral and all that. And that's when it kind of wraps up for the most part. They take Gabriel back up to his room. Celine's still down there. And this is when like the most information that's crazy happens is after like book 6 and it's like Dawn 1 and 2 or whatever it's called. And that's,
yeah.
bro, when some of the craziest information, and I'd forgotten both sides of this information. Like, I forgot the information that you get from Gabriel's POV and then the information you get from Celine. So, like, just to start with Gabriel, which I do have a theory. So, obviously, he goes up there, he acts like he wants, like, some sexual favors, and he wants the one dude to stay. And then come to find out, that's Joaquin.
That's Joaquin, bro.
My boy
That's
Joaquin.
our boy, bro.
So now you're like, wait, we've
Yeah,
infiltrated.
and he
There's
says,
some planned infiltration.
like Gabriel says to him, like, "Are you going to be ready for this?" And Joaquin's like, "For the Grail."
For the Grail.
And Gabriel's like, "For the Grail."
For the
So
Grail. Dude, but
you
I will say,
establish that. Mhm.
you go first because I have a theory. You establish what?
Well, so you establish that that's where Gabriel's at, and dude, it's just wild how all this plays out. So that's where you end with Gabriel. Is it clearly? And dude, I've been saying this, maybe not in these videos, but I've been saying it to you since we started reading these books. Gabriel is planning for something to happen in this
Oh,
tower.
for sure.
Like it's been in the back of my mind. Like this isn't the end. Like we're gonna catch up to present day eventually, and some action's gonna happen. And so now we know. Like he's been from book 1, he's been listening to how many steps it takes to get down from the tower, trying to figure out where people are located. So you know he's making plans. So that's
And you
where
know
he's
that
at.
he doesn't know. Like from what we read in the synopsis of book 3, he does not know Dior's alive. So it's safe to put
Correct.
that out there on the internet. But a theory that I have,
This is how he thinks Dior looks.
dead
Dead
with that
with her little
claw, dude.
claw
That
hand,
claw is
which
diabolical.
we
That
didn't
nub.
completely go into it, bro. The fact that her hand was stuck to the wall with a knife, and then she leveraged up her feet against that wall and kicked herself off and just tore through bone and tendon in order to save Rain,
That
who
was
she's
so
starting to
hard
have
to
a
read.
crush on, was just like, dude, Dior is a dog. It cannot be denied that Dior is a dog. So
She is.
that's where we leave Gabriel.
Well, let me give you a
Where
theory
do
though
we
about
leave? Okay,
Gabriel.
okay.
So,
Before we go to
and
Celine, okay.
tell me if you think this is crazy. Is it not weird? Is it not weird now that we have established with what Celine potentially did to Gabriel with book 2 or with drink 2? She poured some of her blood into some wine, bro. Is it not weird that he's always asking him if he wants like something to drink? Jean Paul or Jean Francois? I could be
He keeps
grasping at
asking if he
straws.
wants.
Bro,
He
he's
does
all
keep
about
asking him if
making
he
sure that
wants.
he gets
Yeah.
more liquor or more wine or whatever it is.
Could he be getting
Dude,
enthralled as we speak?
dude, I am a little nervous just because,
Now, are you
especially at
nervous
the
that
end of
he's
that
being
book.
enthralled by John, or are you
Yes.
worried that he's being enthralled by Celine still? Okay,
No,
you're
by
worried that
Jean,
he's being enthralled by John.
which
Dude, I didn't think about that.
I don't know. It was just something at the very end when he keeps asking for wine, but I'm hopefully we'll learn more. Book 3, obviously, our boy Joaquin is behind enemy lines. He has to have some intel. So maybe
And
not,
that
but I don't
almost,
know. I'm just on high alert with him always. Is there anything I can do to get you a drink? Or like,
yeah.
why is he so nice to him?
And
Why?
ostensibly, it seems like he's just doing that because he just wants to see Gabriel fall. He wants to see him let the animal take over. But I
True.
haven't thought about that theory, dude. That actually, there could be something there, dude. God, dude, what if that happens, bro? What if all this
He's
stuff
so
happens
close.
in book
He's
3
gonna be
and he
so
gets so
close,
close, and then Jean Francois is like, delete yourself, and he just does it.
bro.
So
That could happen. All right, which
that
then could
brings
play
us
into
to
theory. What ends up happening in Dior? So what happens? No, I
so
want to
that
say
brings
Dior.
us to Dior. So
Celine.
they have the funeral. Everyone thinks that Dior is dead. Celine is back down in the holy underground monastery thing where Lily killed Dior. And she's crying, but then all of a sudden, and she's telling this to like a little rat, a little mouse, which is weird because it's like,
She
okay,
says
the
it's a
mice
new
in this,
power that she has, or whatever.
yeah, but the mice in this place that we've met so far are Jean Francois. So you're
Yeah,
like, I hope that's not one of his, but we'll see. Who knows what's going on?
yeah.
But you find out, dude, that, and dude, help me understand. So Celine is back down there. Celine basically pours some blood, like I think, into the mouth of Maylene or whatever her name is, the ancient she had been searching for the whole time that was in
No, she almost sucks her
Eventide
dry,
sleep.
dude. She almost kills Celine.
Yes, she wakes up the ancient, and the ancient
Oh yes, yes, yes.
almost
That's what you're
kills
saying.
Celine.
Yeah.
And then they look, and Dior's body is right there, and Celine's like, "Yo, that's her. That's the Grail." And then Dior opens her eyes. But dude, did I miss something, bro? How did Dior come back to life? Is that just can she just do that? Or did Celine also give her blood? Like she never gave her blood on page, right? It was just to the ancient that she did that.
I don't think so, but dude, bro, there's no way she's normal. There's got to be a catch, dude. She can't there and dude, Jay does such a good job of like every power structure in this series, like there is an opposite of. So whether it's these vampires are super strong, but if they don't have blood after a certain amount of time, like it weakens them. Same with like the Silver Saints,
Mm-hmm.
they need a smoke sanctus. Same with like the the dust dancers, like if they change too much, like it impacts them. Like there's always a good like cost reward system. So I can't see there not being some sort of there has to be like an expense to what she's doing. Dior, that is. But I don't
I
know.
just don't.
I
I
don't
just
know
don't
how it
know.
happened.
They call her San Dior, which I don't even know how Marin knew that name. I guess she knew the name because she drank Celine's blood and maybe got some of her memory. I'm not sure. But she somehow knew, like at the end of the book, when Celine says, "Mother Marin, please," and then has her look over at Dior laying in repose, Marin is the first one to say San Dior. And then Celine confirms San Dior. But how does she even know her name?
I don't know if it's
It's like,
prophesied
what
or what.
exactly is going on here?
Bro, they kept
You know
saying
what?
that prophecy so many times at the end. I'm like, dude, there's
Yeah.
something that's
And that
so
was a
obvious
cool
in this, but I do not know
dude.
what I'm missing.
Did you notice? Okay, so to go back a little bit, when she first says the second half of the prophecy, did you notice Jean Francois' reaction? He's like, "What did you just say?" He seems totally creeped out by it, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just because most vampires didn't know there was another half to it, or if something specific is in it that made him think, "What's going on?" Uh, so I don't, yeah, dude, I don't know what is going on, but
Her eyes are open,
Dior's
dude.
not dead. Dior's not dead. Uh, and that brings me. So I mean, we've finished the book here. We're at the end of Empire of the Damned. I'll just go ahead and while we're fresh on it, while we're talking about it. So Empire of the Dawn drops November 4th. Um, here's our synopsis. Gabriel de Leon has lost his family, his faith, and the last hope of ending the endless night. His surrogate daughter Dior, with no thought left but vengeance, he and a band of loyal brothers journey into the war-torn heart of Eladane, or whatever it's called, Eladin, whatever, to claim the life of the Forever King. Unbeknownst to the last Silver Saint, the Grail still lives, speeding towards the besieged capital of Augustine, whatever, however you're supposed to say it, in the frail hope of ending Day's death. But deadly treachery awaits within the halls of power, and the Forever King's legions march ever closer. Gabriel and Dior will be drawn into a final battle that will shape the very fate of the Empire, but as the sun sets for what may be the last time, there will be no one left for them to trust, not even each other.
How does he not know she's alive, bro? Because you're telling me he's
Because he
not going to see
left, bro.
Celine? Yeah, but dude, you're telling me this is the first time he's seen Celine since being captured? How are they both captured?
See, that's so here's another potential theory. Potential is that by the time they are in the tower, I feel like there's a potential that Celine and Gabriel are working together, and they're putting on a show for Jean Francois to make
I
him
could see
think
it.
that they're still at each other's throat.
I hope
Because
that's
think
not
about it,
it. It's
dude.
kind of a weak thing if that happens, but I could see it.
Maybe, but I could kind of see that him saying that, like, the whole moment where Gabriel jumped across the river to fight her was with the purpose of trying to get her some of his blood
Mm.
so she can start healing and like getting stronger. I could see that, but I could also see we come up to present day and he still doesn't know that. Because why are they saying for the Grail? Like, think about that. Why are they saying for the Grail if they don't think there's a chance to do anything in the way of honoring the Grail? Like if you just think she's dead and there's no way to end Day's death, and you're also in the house of the people that are not responsible for her death, it's like, what are you saying for the Grail for? You know what I mean? Unless
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, we just everything we do now
vengeance,
is in remembrance, or yeah, vengeance on all
yeah,
vampires. But it kind of makes me
maybe.
think, I don't know, man. Especially after I read some
Something weird
reviews, no
going on.
spoilers, but I read some reviews of people who got advanced reader copies of just the first part, which is the first 15 chapters, I believe. Like I think some stuff goes down pretty quickly from what these people are saying. Like
I
I
think
think stuff is
present
going to happen
time,
much quicker. Yeah, I think
Jean
we're going to catch up to
Francois
present day
is
quick.
under the gun, but you don't really know why. He needs
Yeah.
the story. He's trying to flex like, oh, we got an eternity.
Yeah, it's
But
like, bro, why
then
does Margot need this story of the Grail? If the Grail's dead, why does she need to know about the Grail so
because
badly?
all the other ancients are about to pull up for like a meeting, but
That's right. That's
you don't
right.
know really what does that entail, like why, I
Dude, and the
but
question is, we all think Fabian is dead, bro. Is Fabian going to pull up? Dude, I
dude, I
don't know
gotta
if Fabian's dead, bro. I don't know if Fabian's dead.
I think
I'm just
Fabian's
going to
dead.
be real with you. And I'm fine if he is, but dude, I'm so excited to see Fabian, bro,
If
in the
Fabian is
flesh.
dead, how does Gabriel get captured? I do want to know.
It's another thing. It's like, but maybe he got captured on purpose. Maybe this was all part of him and Joaquin and all of their, because maybe
He
Joaquin
doesn't care
is,
anymore, so he's like, I'll kill Fabian, but then get captured. Like he, really
yeah,
puts himself
I'll
behind
try to
enemy
kill
lines.
Margot too. Yeah,
But the
see
thing
if
is,
I
how
can.
do they have him? How does if this is where I am? Let's
Also,
see. How is he
how does
not
the
with
Chastain
Voss?
even in power? How is the Chastain even in power? Because the last time we've heard about the Chastain, when the Divok are talking about all the parties, they talk about the fact that Fabian is busy with his war over in the east, and the Elan are somewhere else. And then they make a point to say the Chastain are separated and at each other's throats, and they have no organization. So it's like, in what period of time and how does the House of Chastain of Margot come to be, come to replace Voss as like the top dog? So, dude, some wild stuff. I mean, it's an 800-page book, but I feel like he's got to fit a lot into 800 pages, which I'm down for, bro. I'm down for the
Same.
pace to be like level
Next
10 the
level.
entire way, nothing but answers, nothing but, resolutions. Um, Dude, I'll be honest, bro. I haven't been this excited for I feel like a book release in a long time. I'm pretty
Especially
hyped
with
for
how it
Empire of the
ended,
Dawn.
was
Ah,
crazy.
dude. And dude, right on the heels of that, bro, we're getting book 2 of the hierarchy. We're getting the strength of the few, which
November is gonna be a good month.
we're gonna eat, bro. We're gonna be eating in November. Literally, it's Thanksgiving, dude. So we're literally gonna be eating in every way
Literally
possible.
eat.
It's time to literally eat. So, dude, did we miss anything? Is there anything you can think of we didn't talk about?
I don't think so, but we're an hour 42 in. This book was
I feel like that's
awesome.
solid. Yeah.
Oh, that's solid. And I'll probably honestly speed this up. We'll probably be at like 1.25 speed when
What do
I
you mean?
post this. Like, I don't know about you, but when I watch YouTube videos, I
Bro,
usually speed them up.
just let the people do that.
All right,
Let the
fine. I'll
people
let
do that if they need to. Let the real ones, bro. If you're a real one, I want you to back this up to point eight speed. And I want this video to be over 2 hours long for you. But
give us that watch time.
look, that's Empire of the Damned. I love Empires and I love Damned.
I will say, if you're watching this and you enjoyed this even a little bit, normally we're like, hey, do not subscribe. We don't care. And honestly, we still don't actually care that much because we're going to do this even if you unsubscribe and negatively comment on this. But I will say it'd be cool if we were to get to 1,000 by the end of this year. And I think
dude,
that train starts now. And I think we use this as a segue into the future. So
if you're
if you
still
like
here, hit the sub button.
if you like two
Drop a
straight white
comment.
males talking about books, you found
We can do
some.
that. And dude, I gotta say, speaking of my white male counterpart, dude, the hair and the facial hair. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't know if it's the angle, if it's the camera light, bro, but you're kind of looking good right now. I'm not
Dude, I
gonna
was
lie,
literally
bro.
thinking about shaving right after this, dude. It's the longest it's been in a long time. And so with the hair as well, we'll
Now
see
the
what
hair's
happens.
looking good too, bro. I kind of like the hair getting a little longer, getting a little almost messy, bro. Like it's a good look, dog. I don't know what Riley
Dude, well,
thinks,
Riley,
but
the only reason I have this is for that. But dude, we have engagement photos like next weekend. I'm like, are you sure we want this locked in forever? Like I feel like I'm
dude,
too old.
honestly, bro, I think you need to lock that in, bro. I think you need to keep this growing so you can have the best look possible. Keep that growing. Maybe get a fresh cut a week prior. But I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, you're looking kind of fresh, dog.
Dude, I appreciate it.
You're looking
'Cause,
like
dude,
you've
I
been
was
drinking some vampire
some
blood.
blood, dude. Well, before we end this, I do want to read probably my favorite line
Let's go.
from this series, and then we'll close it out. So this is from Jay Kristoff. He wrote this, not I. And it is, my tongue wrote poetry on her petals, fluttering on her swollen bud. Guys.
Dude, I thought you were going to be for real, bro.
Empire
Oh
the
my
Dam,
God.
baby. 5 out of 5.
Empire of the Dam. It's the book of
Five.
Peace.